Here in the United States, the House and Senate Republicans are trying to hold the president's feet to the fire, unveiling their alternative to the president's $3.6 trillion budget. Right now, they're holding a rare joint meeting in the House chamber to demonstrate their unity. The GOP budget should be officially released in an hour or so, but was summed up by ranking Republican on the House Budget Committee, Wisconsin Congressman Paul Ryan, just a few minutes ago on Morning Joe.
Let's control our spending. Let's reform our entitlement programs so they're sustainable. Let's keep our taxes low so we can be competitive and help get small businesses back into the job creation business instead of laying people off. And let's get our fiscal house in order.
Austan Goolsbee is member of the White House Council of Economic Advisor. Austan, good to see you.
Good to see you.
The Republicans are reared up, and they've got their details, they say. In fact, you just heard there from Mr. Ryan, Congressman Ryan, but he also says the Republicans want to give budget priority to national defense, veterans health care, and freeze all other discretionary spending for 5 years. This is a part of the details we'll hear from them, but is there any room at the table for these ideas?
Well, look, I thought it was most appropriate that this thing came out on April Fool's Day, because this thing is the biggest April Fool's joke and the cruelest that we've had in years. If you look at what they're doing, it's not enough that we've put they're calling for putting in a multi-trillion-dollar additional tax cut for the highest income Americans. They're now talking about privatizing Medicare, turning it into a voucher so that they can cut it substantially. That's not the reform of an entitlement, it's the gutting of the program. What the president's approach is totally different. It's that we cut the deficit in half by the end of one term, but we make the key investments in health care, in clean energy, and in the education system that we need to get off of this bubble and bust cycle that we've been on. So I think they're really pretty fundamentally different.
Well, you know,
there are a few areas where they seem to be looking in the correct direction, and that is following some of the reforms that Peter Orszag and others in the administration have been putting forward in some healthcare reforms, but in a lot of areas it's problematic.
Austan, I want to add into what Congressman Ryan put in an op-ed about some of the changes, and this one is very interesting because it's already getting traction on the blogs. He talked about tax code. He said at the heart of it, he proposes a 10% tax rate for the first $100,000 earned by couples, the first $50,000 earned by individuals, then the rate goes to 25% for everything above that. So you get kind of two things here, a simpler tax code and, as we well know what the Republicans want here, tax cuts. Again, is there any room at the table for their ideas when it comes to this tax proposal?
Well, look, remember, the president in the economic recovery package had a massive tax cut for 95% of workers. He's been committed to easing the squeeze on the middle class in this country. To cut the top tax rate down to 25%, as in the Republican budget, is a multi-trillion-dollar tax cut for the very highest income Americans, and they are once again hoping that that trickles down to the rest of the economy. And what I can't get over is that's what we just did for 8 years. Have they not been watching what happened? So the president's budget, which makes the key investments that we need to make while cutting the deficit in half over the next 4 years, that's the approach that we need to take, not this Republican approach of trickle down.
All right, Austan, thank you very much. Good to talk to you, and we'll have much more on what the Republicans have to say. Thank you, and we'll be keeping an eye on the front steps of the House after their meeting. House and Senate Republicans are expected to hold a rally. That's around 10 a.m. Eastern. They will officially unveil more details of the budget alternative after the rally. In the meantime, let's go over to